Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We will begin in 2 minutes. So let's get started. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ashley Zandy, and I work in marketing for Facebook, specializing in emerging and high-growth markets around the world. I'm here with Pancham Gajar, who's our product expert at Facebook, and she looks after product development for emerging and high-growth markets. Before we kick off, a little bit of housekeeping. This presentation will be available on Facebook's Blueprint after the recording. If you have any questions during our webinar, please send them in through the GoToWebinar control panel in the questions window, and we'll be sure to answer them. So let's kick off. At Facebook, we believe right now is a special moment to build your brand or business in emerging and high-growth markets. However, we also believe this is a window that will close soon, and businesses need to act now. So today, we're going to talk about how to do that by focusing on our tailored solutions for reaching people who live around the world, but in particular in emerging and fast-growing markets. But before we dive into the product details, let's start with the opportunity. And that means starting with mobile. Mobile is at the heart of the opportunity in emerging markets. Smartphone growth is flattened in developed markets. The vast majority of the growth will come from emerging and high-growth markets. In fact, by 2020, there will be 3 billion more smartphones, many in the hands of people in emerging markets. For marketers and businesses, that means you have nearly 3 billion more opportunities to connect with your customers. We know some of you on the line may just call emerging markets home, and others might be unfamiliar with exactly what an emerging market is. But the common thread is this is important to your business. And the key takeaway is that the demographic and macroeconomic shifts in the world today are fueling the growth of emerging markets. For marketers, we see 2 opportunities. And by a marketer, I mean a business, a cupcake shop on the corner, or a head of marketing at a very large company. The first opportunity is what I just mentioned. With these 3 billion people who have smartphones in their pockets, the experience and the connection with your brand is getting faster, better, and richer as devices improve and prices drop. The second opportunity is about the next billion people coming online. There are few chances to connect with people in this way on mobile for the first time to form a bond with a customer. For so many people in emerging markets, one of the first things they'll buy is a phone. and the next thing they buy may be your product. And chances are they'll discover it on that phone. Now imagine for a moment you're buying a product for the very first time. Face cream, or even a scooter. You want to make sure you buy the best on the market. You want to make sure your friends have tried it, and if it does deliver on its promise, you'll be a loyal customer for life and share your experience with your friends. For marketers, this is a massive opportunity. These aren't just simply new customers. These are your next lifelong customers. But this moment won't last. We believe that now is not the time to watch and see. It's time to act. It's time to be part of this community. Relationships are forming right now, and they're forming through mobile, with the world, with friends and family, and of course, with your business. So for today's conversation, we're going to focus on what we've heard from our advertiser community. Feedback has been that they want to hear more about the how-to and the how to get started. So today, that's what we're focusing on. First, we'll walk through 3 advertiser scenarios and key products within each scenario. Second, we'll then talk about how you can get started in a very practical way. And then finally, we'll take your questions. So first, advertiser scenarios. We'll look at how the Facebook family of apps and services can help. I'll give a short intro for each, and then Pancham, do you mind spending a couple of minutes talking through each of our product solutions for the scenario?
Absolutely. I'll also be sure to share where you can find information.
That's actually a great point. Why don't we kick off with a quick refresher on targeting and Facebook overall? You'll see here are 3 core types of audiences or targeting types. 1, core audiences. 2, custom audiences. And 3, lookalike audiences. Core audiences mean information people put on their profiles, like their age, or the behaviors on the profile. Maybe they've liked the Rolling Stones band page. Custom audiences. This is a way to create an audience based on your best customers. And lookalike audiences. This is a way to take that custom audience of all your best customers and find more customers around the world or even around the block who look like those best existing customers. The solutions that you use depend on your business, and we'll cover off later where you can find more information on these. All right, let's head into the scenarios. So going from left to right, first, we'll talk about a florist in Mexico City. She doesn't have a website, and she runs her business through her phone. Second, we'll go to the Middle East, where we have a consumer goods company looking to increase awareness of its hand sanitizer with people who live in the region. And finally, on the far right, we'll head off to Singapore, where we have an e-commerce company that's looking to expand from just serving customers in Singapore and Malaysia to serving customers across Southeast Asia. So first, we'll kick off with our florist in Mexico City. She doesn't have a website. She manages her Facebook page and runs her marketing for her business from her phone. And she's also using Facebook Messenger to manage customer inquiries and close sales. All right, Pancham, you're up. Let's talk about how the Facebook family can help.
Thanks, Ashley, for having me here. Before we get into the specifics, I want to touch on the messaging point, what we often call conversational commerce, or using messaging for commercial reasons. We know people are messaging more than ever, and conversational commerce has huge opportunities. It's very early days, but our team is looking at testing and learning different ways to connect people and businesses across communication channels. We are working hard to find slow solutions to help you build your business the way your customers want you to connect. Okay, let's jump into how the florist in Mexico can reach her customers all from her phone. She creates amazingly beautiful posts of her newest flower arrangements that her customers love. Her followers often like and share the beautiful posts, and she will often gain new followers from this engagement. But sometimes there may be a really beautiful post or a post that has a discount deal that she wants to make sure everyone sees. How would she do that? On the right side of the slide you're seeing, we're showing an example of our lightweight interface designed exactly for this scenario. The florist can now easily boost this specific post so that it can reach more people. Please look at the blue button on the bottom right which says Boost Post. When she clicks on this button, this is what happens. When you click on the Boost Post button, you reach the new screen, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you see a section for audience. When you click on that, you will take into another screen where you choose all the details of your target audience. So for example, you can give your audience a name, in this case, flower bouquet. Next, you pick your location, in this case, Chihuahua, Mexico. Third, you pick interests, which in this case is flower bouquet. Next, you pick your age group from 18 to 30 years. For gender, you pick female and you save your audience. Then you're taken back to the previous screen where you pick your budget for this specific ad. We picked $20 for over 2 days, and you'll notice it says estimated reach for 7,000 to 18,000 people in your target audience. Last, you click Boost button at the bottom, and voila, you created your first ad. You'll notice the status button says under review. You'll get a notification once the ad has been reviewed and is ready to go live. Okay, Ashley, back to you over for our next advertiser.
Great. Thank you, Pancham. That's amazing. Now we're going to move to a completely different part of the world and another business objective. This scenario brings us to the Middle East. We're now talking about a very large company that sells consumer packaged goods, or perhaps fast-moving consumer goods, depending on where you live in the world. And the company leadership has tasked the marketing team, together with the company's agency partners, to raise awareness of one of its brands, a hand sanitizer. They've asked to reach as many people as possible within the GCC, or the Gulf Cooperation Council, which is a group of countries in the Middle East. All right, Pancham, let's talk through how they can approach this.
This is a great example, Ashley, and it's all about reaching as many people as possible. Brands should know where people are, on mobile, and this is possible through the power of Facebook's family of apps and services, which you can see here on the slide. In this case, you can start by selecting the brand awareness objective, which is a way for advertisers to show ads to people who are more likely to pay attention to them. There are many components of this campaign, and really any campaign, so we won't have time to review all of them. But we know it's important for your marketing dollars to achieve real business results and be as efficient and effective as possible. So we'd like to call out a few things to keep in mind to make that a reality. Here are some of the things to think about to help you as you create your campaign. First, there are a number of places where people can see the ad, or what we call placements. The slide here is showing the platforms available for advertising, and within each platform there are several placements. We recommend enabling automatic placement, which tells us how to find most relevant people and the cheapest results available across these placements. This takes advantage of every placement that is the most efficient use of your budget. You can learn more about placements available when you're setting up your campaign within Ads Manager or Power Editor, or you can learn more at the Facebook Help Center. Next, let's go to targeting. In this case, you can target the free trade area of the Gulf Cooperation Council, or GCC, which is a group of countries. This is more efficient than other ways that you may structure your ad sets, such as one per country. And in this case, our advertiser would like to include both English and Arabic languages in the same ad set. Finally, when you're thinking about a large brand awareness campaign, you should always consider creative and the creative formats available. Check out the third from the left. This is an example of a slideshow ad format, a way to bring video-like experience for people who are on a slower connection or want to use less data. For our team, the Ads Emerging Markets team, a big part of creativity is to think about being creative without constraints, meaning not letting the screen or speed dictate someone's experience. Another creative consideration when you're thinking through extending your reach is creating for Facebook Lite. More than 200 million people connect through Facebook Lite, a lighter version of our native app when connections can be challenging. For marketers, it's super easy. Most ad units are supported and will deliver to people on Facebook Lite automatically.
All right, let's move on to our last advertiser scenario. It's time to head to Singapore. Here in Singapore, we're going to take a look at an e-commerce company who are looking to expand from just serving customers in Singapore and Malaysia to serving customers in more countries around Southeast Asia. And the company wants more people in these new countries to download their mobile app. All right, Pancham, over to you.
So we'd start with the business objective, mobile app installs, because they'd like more people to download their app. But they also want to take advantage of their current customer base, or what many people call their CRM system. Let's check out how they can do this. As Ashley already mentioned earlier, the e-commerce company will have uploaded a custom audience, or an audience based on their best existing set of customers. We can now use our lookalike audience feature to find people similar to that in your custom audience. Additionally, in this case, you can target the ASEAN Free Trade Area. This is more efficient than other ways that you may structure your ad sets, such as one per country. And you can also include multiple languages in the same ad set. Now, we'd like to highlight something new that we're building. We've heard from our advertiser community that it is super important to focus on solutions for people advertising in multiple languages. And as a result, we're working on a new way to optimize your budget by including multiple languages in one ad set. Therefore, no more guesswork on how much budget to allocate to a language. This will help save time and potentially money as well. We recently released a new way to run the same ad copy in up to 6 different languages within a single ad set. The first business objective this is available for is mobile app installs. So in this scenario, once the targeting is set, our advertiser can take advantage of this new solution. After targeting and selecting your audience, you'll get the advert part of setting up your campaign, which is where you'll find this ability. Once you set up your ads, our ads delivery system will then deliver the ad to the right language to the right user, which could lead to a lower cost. To give you a sense, if someone lives in Thailand but their language preference is English, they will receive our advertiser's ad in English. And conversely, if someone lives in Singapore but their preference is for Thai, they'll see your ad in Thai. This is a great way to tailor your ads. Right now, you can use this solution for the mobile app install objective across Facebook, Instagram, and Audience Network. And we're currently building this into more objectives as we speak. And there you have it. We're done with our advertisers in Singapore, and we've shared a new solution we're working on. Ashley, back to you.
Thanks, Pancham. All right, so one of the first questions we get from people when we speak with our advertiser community is how to get started. Pancham, can you share more?
Absolutely. If you'd like to learn more about the opportunity to grow your business in emerging markets, I'd recommend checking out Facebook's Blueprint. Facebook's Blueprint is an online e-learning program, and today's webinar and the previous webinar on the next mobile generation will be available on demand. Also, we'll soon launch Blueprint Learning Paths for Emerging and High Growth Markets, where there'll be 2 tracks, one for small to medium businesses and one for brands and agencies. For targeting specifically, there is so much more. This is a list of available courses now, and the content is regularly updated. Lastly, here is the Facebook Advertiser Help Center, where you can find answers to almost any question you may have. And that wraps it up for resources. We hope we've inspired you to think about campaigns in new ways and shared where to get started and how to learn more. So let's go back to where we began. When advertising is done well, people want to connect. And in emerging markets, people connect with your business or brand on mobile. As more people get better mobile devices or come online, the opportunity is massive for businesses.
Thanks, Pancham. That was mega helpful. I always like to ask what the one thing would be that you would leave with the listeners of this call.
The number one thing to take away is absolutely to test and learn. The beauty of digital marketing is that you can see how anything is performing right away and adjust how you do things based on that. You can test a campaign, ad set, creative, or copy, or you can test one boosted post compared to another. By taking these learnings and adjusting your campaigns, you can truly connect with people and grow your business.
Amazing. Thank you, Pancham. And finally, for the last part of the webinar, we'll take your questions. We'll pause for a moment here to gather the questions. Okay, Pancham, let's kick off with our first question. One of our listeners says we've spoken quite a lot about custom audiences, and they'd like to know how best to create a custom audience and to create the best custom audience possible.
Thanks, Ashley. There are lots of ways of creating a custom audience. I would definitely look at the Help Center, which details all these ways. But some of the common ways that we've seen people create these are using lists of emails and phone numbers of customers that regularly buy their product or service.
Oh, great. That's really helpful, Pancham. And actually, one of our questions is a follow-up to that and related. They want to know the best way to create a lookalike audience.
So lookalike audiences is as good as your custom audience. And based on that is what we create our lookalike audience. So once again, I would urge you to look at the Help Center to see how best to create your custom audience.
So bottom line, check out how to do a custom audience, find your best customers, create that, and the rest is super easy.
That's right.
Cool. Okay, we've got another question. This time it's about Facebook Lite, which you mentioned earlier in the webinar. Someone wants to know which ad units exactly are supported.
Yeah, so most of the ad units are supported on Facebook Lite. And if you're interested in more details, again, I would urge you to check the Help Center.
Great. Sounds like the Help Center is the answer. Okay, our next question. Oh, perfect. This person wants to know if they can find the Help Center on their mobile phone, or because of the picture we showed was of desktop.
That is such a good question. I'm really glad you asked. The answer is yes, you can absolutely find it on mobile. You go to your settings, and if you go down to the bottom, there's a section called Help and Support. When you click on that, you can find all the information for the ads on that.
Great. Okay, Pancham, this is a great question to end on. Someone wants to know about the new product that we mentioned earlier in the webinar that was about multiple languages in one ad set. They'd like to know which objectives this is available for. They missed it during the webinar.
Thanks. So this is available for mobile app install objective today, and later in the year, we'll keep on adding it for other objectives. We'll keep you posted as we know more.
And Punchum, is it for the mobile app installs objectives on which platforms?
It is available for Facebook, Instagram, and Audience Network today.
Amazing. Great. Well, that rounds up our Q&A. So that's a wrap for today's webinar. We really hope you found it useful. You can listen again anytime on demand on Facebook Blueprint. As a reminder, the Help Center, Facebook Blueprint, they have all the answers to find the solutions that can help you reach the best customers for you, whether they're around the corner or around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today.